And welcome back to another episode of Coffee and Crypto. My name's Don. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching today's video. If you are watching it live, good morning. I hope you have your coffee ready for another fantastically jam-packed episode because, well, if you've seen the news the past 12 hours even, crypto has got, it's got quite exciting again, at least for now. But anyway, like I said, get comfortable, grab your coffee, let's work through today's episode and we will see what is going on in the markets. Now, first things first, we will look at the top 10 crypto projects. As always, currently, let me just refresh this first of all because I don't believe these are currently up to date. Let's just see how much it jumps when I refresh. There we go, look at that. Massive jump in price with Bitcoin especially. So Bitcoin is up at $27,443. Ethereum at $17.17. We then have BNB at $225. XRP at 53 cents. Cardano at 26 cents. Dogecoin at 0.06. We then have Solana at $21 and then Tron at 0.07. So most of the market is up around kind of 4 or 5%, especially Bitcoin pulling the weight there at up almost 6%. Yesterday it was up just over 7% on the day, which was incredible. In fact, let's just look a little bit deeper into the Bitcoin candle, which if I can change it here. There we go. So that was yesterday. We seen this massive, it was like a $1,700 candle or something along those lines that we seen literally come out of nowhere. And the reason for that, I'm going to cover in more detail today, so make sure you are staying tuned for that. But yeah, we've seen a massive 7% spike in Bitcoin within a matter of an hour or two. And yeah, it got the whole market, of course, up and running, and the whole market cap's actually up almost 5% as well, which is interesting. But yeah, let's get into why that has happened, and also let's chat a little bit more about just some news articles in regards to things that you may have missed. I'm going to point them out for you and give them a bit more detail to keep you up to date. So the reason I'm talking about this in particular is because on yesterday's episode, or was it maybe Monday's episode, we spoke about Binance and MasterCard no longer offering the services for a crypto debit card. Well, look at this. It now comes out, the news today, Binance launches a crypto to bank account payment product in Latin America. So they withdrew the debit card. Well, they think MasterCard has withdrew the debit card because of the scrutiny that Binance was under. However, literally the next day, it appears, the news is that Binance is launching a crypto to bank account payment product in the exact same area. So let's dive into this then. So crypto exchange Binance is expanding its offerings in Latin America with the launch of a new crypto to bank account payment solution for the region. Now, on August 30th, Binance said it's working with licensed transfer processing providers for a new Send Cash product that allows users from 9 different countries to transfer crypto funds directly to bank accounts. That might not seem like a big deal because we're in a very much thriving country in the UK, and again, same in the US and out in the Emirates as well. However, it's a bit different when it comes to Latin America. So the new function is available to users in Colombia, Honduras, Guatemala, Argentina, Costa Rica, Paraguay, Dominican Republic, Panama, and Mexico. So users of these countries will be able to send money via Binance Pay to receipts with bank accounts in Colombia and Argentina. Binance Pay, which has seen growth in Africa, Asia, and Eastern Europe, is the exchange native crypto payment technology platform. So again, send cash, instant, low fees. It's big for Latin America, and again, it's like I kind of mentioned on that brief article that I covered the other day when I spoke about how important it is. Just because you don't see the issues or you don't feel the issues yourself doesn't mean that there are issues across the globe with payment processing, people being able to get bank accounts and so on and so forth. Latin America is a major kind of thriving country that needs that help, and crypto is there to kind of provide that help. So, Binance's regional vice president for Latin America, Min Lin, said the firm was developing new crypto use cases in everyday life, which is exactly what we need. And it's almost like they're using Latin America because of the situation that they're in at the moment. They're almost like using that as the test grounds, I guess, for the products that they will roll out inevitably across the globe when the time is right. Now, individuals and businesses in the region are very open to innovations that can solve the specific challenges that they face. Binance highlighted the challenges in Latin America, citing that a 2021 World Bank study said that 42% of adults lack access to a bank account. Again, just because you've got a bank account and everything's fine doesn't mean that there's issues across the globe, and it's why I'm so kind of passionate, I guess, about some things in crypto. It's not just about the investment, it's actually about what the technology is trying to do in the finance space, and here's a bit of proof that there's a need for it. So, crypto is often used for remittances in the region, and adoption is increasing as a rampant inflation is still ongoing in these Latin American countries. Venezuela, not included in Binance's new service, has the highest inflation rate in the world at 398%, according to a study. Argentina has the fourth highest inflation globally, and that's 113%. That's just insane to think about. Inflation also remains in double figures for Haiti, Cuba, as I think Donald Trump would say it, and then Colombia. So the main point and the main reason behind a lot of these Latin American countries being, I guess, like I said, the testing ground, is because they need it most. So yes, we would benefit from it in countries like the UK, the US, Dubai, whatever it may be, but where it's needed most is in countries that have silly inflation numbers, like 398% inflation in Venezuela and 113% inflation in Argentina. So that's why it's getting tried and tested over there to iron out any issues that it may solve with these countries that are in or at the kind of lowest kind of point. However, they will again in time flow into countries like the ones I've just mentioned across the globe, basically. So yeah, for me, again, quite big news. I would say I wanted to share that with you. Hopefully you found it as interesting as I did. Now, next point I want to cover is EOS. Now, EOS is an investment that I made about 3 years ago at this point, and did really well after I invested in it, which was great, but not done so well ever since. So it's not looking good, bruv, as we say, with EOS. However, EOS does get a lot of kind of heat. And the fact of the matter is, well, people say it was hyped up at the time. So when Ethereum was first getting challenged, a lot of these big companies were coming out and saying they are Ethereum killers. EOS was one of them, had a great marketing strategy, launched at a great time, and people believe that they just kind of got a big name and got the amount of money and funding behind them because they were known as the first like Ethereum killer, but yet haven't really done anything ever since. Same goes with their active kind of community or Twitter page or whatever it may be, or X page, should I say, to be correct. However, like I said, I've invested for a while. I'll continue because, well, I'm down, so I need to continue no matter what. I will not give in to a loss. But I noticed it pumped a little bit yesterday, and this is the news that has come out regarding it. So it says, EOS secures regulatory approval in Japan and will trade against the yen. So this is interesting. Now, EOS, the token, has been granted whitelist approval by Japan's crypto regulator, paving the way for the token to be traded against the Japanese yen on a regulated exchange in the country. In an announcement to Cointelegraph, the EOS network, which currently supports the development of EOS, announced that the token has received whitelist approval from the Japanese Virtual and Crypto Asset Exchange Association. Here is the kind of official tweet, I guess, for that. This means that the token can trade against the yen on regulated exchanges, and the ENF also highlighted that the trading for the token will be enabled in September on an exchange called BitGet. Now, ENF CEO Veleros, I don't know, quite a cool name, told Cointelegraph in a statement that tapping into the Asian market is very important for EOS. According to LaRose, the region has always been an important pillar to EOS as it has a vast amount of token holders. He also added, we strongly believe that the next wave of Web3 innovation will come in the form of blockchain-based gaming and GameFi. Remember that point, I want to come back to that. Asia is clearly a leader in that space. Now, why do I think that's such an amazing thing? Not just about EOS, but just that quote in general. We strongly believe that the next wave of Web3 innovation will come in the form of blockchain-based gaming and GameFi. Why am I saying that? Well, I'm a huge investor and huge believer in Genzo Kishi, MV. You all know that by now. If you are a member, you will know that. And if you get involved in the CC Pro basket, you'll know exactly what I mean when it comes to Web3 gaming, blockchain gaming, and GameFi products in the Asian market. If you don't know, get in Discord and you'll get to know. But anyway, moving back on to this, it's not about MV at this point, we are talking about EOS. So the ENF CEO also said that Japan is a growing market with an established regulatory framework in support of government. LaRose believes that there's an incredible opportunity for countries like Japan to absorb our market share as it offers clarity and oversight. Again, that's like 2 points that no other country really is good at. The ENF CEO also noted that many gaming intellectual properties in Japan are ripe for tokenization. So, yeah, I won't. Well, do you know what? Let me read this this little paragraph here, then I'll go back to the whole gaming thing that I wanted to kind of touch on again. So, meanwhile, Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, again, you can tell I've brushed up on my Japanese, has recently reaffirmed the country's stance regarding Web3. So in a keynote address on July 25th, Kishida highlighted Web3's potential to kindle social change and transform the internet. The Prime Minister also described Web3 as part of the new form of capitalism. Yeah, capitalism. So basically, there's a few points in this article, I guess, that I'm quite bullish about, and primarily, I won't lie, it's because I hold two of the projects that I've mentioned. I hold EOS, quite a large portion of it. I also hold MV, quite a large portion of it. So this sort of stuff makes me, happy to be an investor in these projects, but also to learn more about the Japanese gaming culture. It's something that I knew of anyway, hence why I not just myself, but everyone on the team believed in Genzo Kishi so much, and it's why we continue to believe in it. And it's just, I guess, a bit of a kind of backup point to say that hopefully it's looking good, bruv, for game or blockchain gaming in the Asian kind of area. So yeah. Anyway, are you invested in EOS? Are you invested in MV? Let me know below. I'm always interested to hear what your investments are. Let me get a quick sip and then we will jump back into this interesting article. Okay, so Elon Musk's X moves closer to crypto payments with a new state license. Now, I've seen a few tweets or posts, whatever they're called nowadays, yesterday on X, but I wanted to kind of just touch on it a little bit. This doesn't mean a whole lot, really. It's just, I guess, an update, a bit of information, but I wanted to cover it anyway. So, Rhode Island's regulator have granted X a currency transmitter license, marking a step forward for the company's foray into the financial services sector. The license is legally required for companies conducting financial activities on behalf of users related to sending and receiving money. A definition that includes both fiat and crypto assets. Now, the approval will allow X to custody, transfer and exchange digital currencies. X's Rhode Island currency transmitter license was approved according to the nationwide multi-state licensing system. A big fancy word. So the move marks an important step forward in Elon Musk's push for X to become an everything app, which would include crypto and fiat payments, as we're led to believe. While sources have suggested that X's upcoming payments feature will initially only support fiat currencies, which I believe has been mentioned before. Musk has reportedly instructed developers at X to build the platform's payment system in such a way that crypto functionality can be added in the future. And the approval comes nearly 2 months after X secured money transmitter licenses in Michigan, Missouri, and New Hampshire, which were all approved on July 5th. X's latest license marks a total of 7 American states it secured transmitter licenses in. So, again, I won't read into this too much because it's not a huge deal. There's no confirmation whatsoever regarding crypto payments. I do believe that Elon didn't actually clarify if the crypto payments would be a thing. So let's not read too much into this for now. Let's wait for its kind of more news to come out as such and more confirmation to come out. However, nonetheless, I guess it's positive for X in general as we start to see, I guess, more licenses being approved. But yeah, like I said, not all that big of a deal at the moment. Okay, so I'm going to jump into the news you've all been waiting for. The Grayscale wins the SEC lawsuit for the Bitcoin ETF review. Now, in about 3 minutes' time, there will be a fire alarm test in this office. I will just try and fire on through, but yeah, just in case you're wondering what the noise is in the background in 3 minutes' time. But yes, so this is the big news that obviously kind of swept the market over the past 24 hours because, well, the market pumped, well, Bitcoin especially, pumped 7% off the back of this news. Or is it just a bit of a great timed article? Was the market going to move regardless based on the charts? I'll let you be the decider of that. I know what I think. But anyway, the news, like I said, is Grayscale has won the lawsuit for the BTC ETF review. So let me jump into this in a bit more detail. So, crypto asset manager Grayscale Investments has scored a major victory against the US SEC in an effort to convert its over-the-counter Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, which is GBTC. We've spoken about that quite a lot. We've also spoken about that quite a lot in Discord. Hopefully you took notice of that, especially our alpha members. Now, it's to be listed into a Bitcoin ETF. Previously, the SEC rejected its GBTC application on the grounds that products were not designed to prevent fraudulent and manipulative acts and practices. Grayscale subsequently sued and the decision has been overturned. Fantastic. Well done, Grayscale. So according to a August 29th court filing, the US Appeals Court Judge Naomi Rao ordered Grayscale's petition for review and to be granted, and the SEC's order to deny that the GBTC's listing application be vacant. Previously, Judge Rao said that the SEC did not offer any explanation as to why Grayscale was in the wrong. However, the order does not guarantee the eventual listing of a Grayscale spot Bitcoin ETF. Now, I think that's quite important to understand and realise. This does not confirm and guarantee that an ETF will be approved, by the way. I know that my favourite thing to talk about on the channel is ETFs recently, but I'm not getting totally hyped up and being an absolute moon boy and just telling you or feeding you lies, because there's no confirmation or guarantee that this means there will be an approval. It just means that they've managed to appeal the decision, the fact that the SEC, surprise, surprise, gave no real, what's the actual word in here? It says they gave no offer any, they didn't offer any explanation. So just typical SEC, they didn't actually care or try and attempt to explain why they rejected it. They just rejected it and just hoped that Grayscale would just admit defeat. However, Grayscale fought back and they have won. So that's a massive, massive win. Once again, that's the second blow in the past kind of few months to the SEC. First, it was a Ripple case, which, yeah, did take 2.5 years, a bit longer than this, but nonetheless, it has been proven to be a load of, I guess, nonsense. Now, Michael Sonishin, interesting surname, the CEO of Grayscale, said on X that its legal team is actively reviewing the court opinion. And this was back in June 29th. The SEC denied Grayscale's application to convert GBTC into a spot ETF. The next day, Grayscale's senior legal strategist, the former US Solicitor General Donald B. Oh, what a great name. Donald B. Verrilli Jr. filed a petition for review to the State's Court of Appeals. At the same time, Sonishin said in his statement, the firm was deeply disappointed and, that's a good word there, vehemently, I'm not even going to bother. I won't even bother. Disagreed. Basically, they really disagreed. with the SEC's decision to deny its application. I can see people getting off their nut, like, why can't you pronounce that word? It's so easy to pronounce that word. Just pronounce it. No. That's a special shout out to Deck, because I know Deck's thinking, oh, that's an easy word to pronounce. Well, I don't want to pronounce it. I'd rather make it easier for everyone to just understand that essentially he really disagreed. All right? Moving back to the article, Grayscale's Bitcoin Trust is the largest Bitcoin fund to have a traded over the counter, with over $14 billion in assets under management. Earlier this year, shares of the GBTC traded at a discounted of nearly 50% to the net value due to the firm's ongoing litigation with the SEC and credit concerns regarding its parent Digital Currency Group, DCG. Now, they've been in the news the past few days. I haven't bothered touching on it too much because I feel like this is more important than the DCG news. But anyway, nonetheless, the whole point of this article, the whole point I'm trying to make here is it doesn't guarantee an ETF approval. However, this is a massive win for Grayscale and another massive loss for the SEC. So, fantastic news. We love to see it. For members, we did release a podcast this morning, and it gives a little bit more detail on the Grayscale versus SEC kind of issue that's been going on. So go check that podcast out if you haven't already. It's a short kind of few minutes it makes your life a lot easier, basically, to listen to these short form podcasts that we release on a weekly basis. And I highly suggest you go check them out. So, next point is this. So, I actually opened it up. Hopefully I opened it up. Did I open it up? I did. Right, let me come back to it. The first one I wanted to show you from Dylan Leclerc was Grayscale wins lawsuit against the SEC. DC Circuit Court of Appeals is vacating SEC's denial to the GBTC's decision into an ETF. Again, just to highlight, this does not mean, I think that's meant to say, that GBTC is automatically converting into an ETF. So again, this was actually one of the first tweets that came out yesterday at 20 to 4 that kind of announced the news to the globe, to everyone on X, basically. But anyway, the point I wanted to show you from Dylan Leclerc was this part here, which I'm guessing we'll probably cover a bit more detail either tomorrow or on Friday. But lost amid the Grayscale celebration, the SEC filed a new sealed motion against Binance late last night, keeping details confidential from public record. Now, a very unusual step for the SEC. One explanation is that the sealed documents relate to non-public allegations, which is the DOJ. Now, this is it here again. I won't go into it in too much detail because I think that I'm going to have to cover it in a bit more detail, literally, over the next few days. But I wanted to highlight this because everyone's celebrating the Grayscale news. Obviously, it's fantastic. However, people are, I guess, failing to see another issue with Binance. But again, is it FUD? Is it just the usual at this point? Well, yeah, sort of is. But anyway, it says here that the Securities and Exchange Commission versus Binance Holdings Limited. So sealed motion for leave to file document under seal. Again, I don't know a huge amount from this at the moment, but I will jump into this in a bit more detail in tomorrow's episode. So stay tuned for that. That is all for today's episode. I wanted to try and make this a bit shorter than yesterday's for you to get through it. However, some great points made, I believe, and one thing that I wanted to kind of touch back on as well is the ETF does not automatically get approved, so please don't let people on Twitter or X tell you different. It is huge news for the space and especially for Grayscale. We will hopefully start to see some more positive roles, kind of our news coming out now that the Grayscale have kind of won that SEC battle. The next point I want to make is check out gaming in the blockchain space, check out the Asian markets in the blockchain gaming space. I, like I said, are a big believer, a big investor personally in MV, which is Genzo Kishi. You can get that. If you're looking to invest in that, you can get it on SwissBorg. Now, SwissBorg is, of course, linked below, so go check that out if you don't already have an account. But yeah, and the final point I want to touch on is bear in mind nothing that I can offer is financial advice, so don't take any of the information I kind of spread on these videos as any type of financial advice. Please, of course, do your own research. Don't just do something because I do it. Please go read into it your own in your own time. Even for SwissBorg, for example, make sure you read the reviews and make sure you're comfortable with investing before you even decide to make any investments. Anyway, like I said, that's all for today's episode of Coffee and Crypto. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching today's episode. If you did just tune in, you best rewind back or watch this back in a few minutes when I post it onto the main channel. But anyway, from me, it's over and out. Please like the video, drop me a comment and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. I will see you all tomorrow for another episode of Coffee and Crypto. I hope you all have a great day. See you very, very soon. See ya.